Welcome to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We feature destination races from across the country. And after the race, we take you on a tour of the best local food and beverage to celebrate. So whether you are an elite runner or a back of the packer like us, you'll know the best places to accomplish, explore, and indulge on your next runcation. Hey, welcome to episode 111 of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast, and I am your host, Amy, of course.
And I'm your co-host, Dana. Does that mean that this is a palindrome episode?
Is it?
The numbers are the same forwards and backwards?
That is so true.
There we go.
So true. We have an amazing show for you. Yes, last week we were so lucky to have Mr. Mike Rallman of the Be Our Guest podcast. And that episode last week was so much fun talking Run Disney memories.
Yeah, he doesn't realize just how many hours he and his crew have spent being our backseat passengers during road trips.
And now I will tell you, with all of this running in this 60K Gauntlet challenge that we're going to talk about tonight, well, the first two legs of it, I guess I should say, he has been a driving force for me to get this running done.
Yeah, I love spoken word podcasts for running because it allows me to engage that conversational part of my brain, and I'll talk to myself anyway. Yeah. But especially during a podcast where I'll actually reply sometimes kind of under my breath to what they're saying and think about what I would say if I were in the conversation.
Have you ever talked to yourself like out on the run?
Oh, absolutely.
Spoken to yourself, and then people who are doing yard work in the neighborhood are like, what is he doing?
I hope everybody thinks that I'm on the phone and not just some crazy person.
You just pretend you're on the phone, right?
I mean, it's bad enough I'm running down the road in a kilt and they're looking at me like I got three heads anyway. So, what's one more thing?
You're Scottish.
And Andy's talking to himself. So he's not only Scottish, he's drunk.
Because I talk to myself. I'm like, I argue about whatever it is that they're talking about.
Yeah.
Go, no, you could do this. Or, yes, I agree with Pam. I agree with Ricky. I agree with Mike. Come on. So.
Yeah, and if you've had Disney experiences and you think you've got kind of like a inside track or you've got something that's just really cool, it's neat to hear what other people go there and discover and take away and kind of hold to themselves as that's my thing. And it's kind of cool to see what other people come up with.
Great memories, and I think that not being able to do the Star Wars Rival Run, reminiscing with Mike last week, and also doing this 60K Gauntlet challenge has allowed us to live in past race memories.
A little bit. I mean, I loved the 60K Gauntlet challenge that we're going to be doing that we've started and then we're going to be doing over the next couple of weeks, mainly because it takes me back to the time when Disney was doing the Superheroes Half Marathon, the Spider-Man 5K, the Thor 10K, and then the Superhero Half.
The Black Widow Half was the last one that they did.
And that was probably, of the medals that we received out there, probably my favorite. I mean, it was
my favorite.
Beautifully done medal. I mean, it's your favorite because you love Black Widow.
I do.
I'm just saying, independent of favorite character, the medal was just gorgeous.
Classic.
They did a really nice job with it. And I also was a big fan, and you even were surprised when I said this, when we talked about it, like, what do you like better, this or the Star Wars stuff?
Yeah, I was shocked.
I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Star Wars fan. I mean, Star Wars was the first movie I ever saw in a movie theater.
Indeed.
And
more on that later.
You would think that there's no way you could outdo that, but honestly, I think that Disneyland and those races out there are of the Star Wars races, and those the Superheroes Half weekend was the better of the two, or better of the three.
I love that theme better, and I just love the execution of those races better. But I'm not even a baseball fan, and running through Angel Stadium out there regardless of the race theme,
Right.
is awesome.
It is, and they also, the community out there embraces the races in a way that's a little bit different than the way the Orlando races go down, and that's no fault of anybody's. It's just that
No, they're both great, but they're different.
They're different, and part of it's because of the geography. You know, Disney World is on this giant parcel of land that Disney owns, and you don't have residential areas directly adjacent to the park. You don't have main thoroughfares that have low density commercial, and restaurants and stuff right along the road, right next door. Out there in California, it's on the backside of Disneyland is a neighborhood.
Yeah.
And on the other side of Disneyland is the interstate, and on the other side is a main road that has some restaurants, and it's a totally different feel. And the community comes out and they cheer you on, and they're putting costumes on. You know, for the Star Wars ones, they do their 501st Legion chapters that are out there come out.
Love that.
And their costumes are amazing. Well, the superhero cosplay community comes out and does the same thing. And being so close, of course, to Hollywood, you got a lot of people who really are into that stuff.
It's so great. And
I got great photos with a bunch of Agent Carters.
Oh, my
The year
God.
that I ran as Captain America.
And like Spider-Man was in there, and coming out of Angel Stadium and having the throwback to Captain America and like the World War II dance hall type stuff going on in the parking lot.
Swing dancing.
It's a swing dancing. Oh my goodness.
Super cool.
How awesome is that? So this, I mean, last week with the Run Disney and the Star Wars, and this week with the 60K Gauntlet Challenge, it immerses me in so many race memories. And during this time, you need that.
You do. And it's also given us a cheap excuse, as we have now basically finished Netflix and finished...
we're closing in.
Yeah, we're almost done with Netflix.
Yeah.
But it gave us an excuse to go back and watch the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah.
So we're about, 6 movies in, 7 movies in.
Yeah.
And this is 21 movies total.
And I'm telling you, they hold up.
They do age very well.
Iron Man, love it.
There's 21 movies over a 10-year period. If you've been living under a rock for the last decade plus, the Marvel Cinematic Universe began with the movie Iron Man, starring Robert Downey Jr., and
Love
it
that.
concluded with the movie Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Which actually was released a year ago this week.
Oh,
It just came up in my Facebook timeline.
man.
And what they ended up doing was taking these 21 movies and stringing together a very large overarching story that incorporated all of these characters towards the final movie, Endgame.
Yeah.
And this, I mean, yes, it's Disney related because Disney owns Marvel, but it's really, it's all about the superheroes and all about the sheer epicness of the story that it tells.
Boy.
And getting to do a race like this where we're getting to earn the stones, and we have been showing the medal from this this running challenge on some of our Instagram Live and Facebook Lives. It'll be in the episode artwork.
Yes.
But what you're going to see is the medal is shaped like the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes, and there are magnets for each individual stone. So as you complete the challenge, you can affix the magnet. And we have shown off the first 2 of Dana's on Instagram Live.
Yes.
Yeah. We haven't really shown mine off because I have been,
timing,
I've posted to social media, but I haven't done lives, but it's just timing. And I'm telling you, like, some of the days I just beat the thunderstorms, or the heat is so unbearable. I just don't even think about it. I'm like, just give me in the house to some AC.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this has been, the start of this challenge this week is a great bridge from Run Disney to this challenge. And then, of course, we're so lucky to have some great food trucks around our county.
Yes.
In Lee County, Florida, to be able to replenish or nourish or celebrate our accomplishment, and then to have some themed cocktails from a master cocktail artist in this
and
episode.
distiller.
Yes. So awesome this week.
It's going to be an awesome episode.
Yeah.
So let's start out with the running portion. Like I said, we've done 2 10Ks that we're going to talk about this week. The first is for the Space Stone.
Yes.
And the second being for the Mind Stone. That would be the blue stone and the yellow stone, respectively, in the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Tell us how your first one went.
Well, you can tell it's summer in Florida.
Oh, it's here.
I'm just going to tell you right now, because it was super hot, and it didn't matter the time of morning.
No.
That we got up, 4 a.m, walk out there, dead air. No air.
Just
no
steam.
wind.
Yeah.
Just steam. And the only saving grace to doing it that early is that you are not fighting the sun as well.
Yeah, you're beating the sun.
You're beating the sun, and that's it. And oh God. The first 2 10Ks in this whole series were brutal. Just brutal. You can tell summer is here early in Florida, you know.
Yeah.
And I know that our northern friends are still combating some
Cold,
swings
snow.
in temperature. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we see some pictures in the Runcation Nation, like Rob Nadeau.
Yeah, he's out west. But
sometimes he'll be
into the mountains
in the northern states, and it'll be really super cold. But this is the other end of the spectrum, my friends. So I will tell you that I had some of the slowest 10Ks on record.
Wow, okay.
That I've had, you know. But for me, right now, it's not about speed in those longer runs. You know, I'll do cadence drills, I'll do acceleration gliders, I'll do drills the way that our coach, Jeff Galloway, says to do, to work in the short runs to increase speed and increase turnover and help that be better. But these longer runs, which are the 10Ks or 2 10Ks back to back, those I will just, I'm in it to gain the endurance.
Oh, sure.
So that's what it was all about for me, and to condition in that heat so that when I have race conditions that are better, I know I can thrive.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, for the first of the 10Ks, I went out, and it was one of those where, like, I slept too late on an off day. I should have just gone ahead and gotten up earlier, but
Everybody's
I didn't.
done
so
it.
Let's just go get it done. So, get dressed, head out. And I like to take the dogs with me, especially if you're running or if you're not at home. That way I can rest assured that they're not going to destroy the house when I'm out for a run.
Right.
And I could tell that it was unseasonably warm because they were having issues.
Yeah.
Normally they're good for about 3 miles. At the 2 mile mark, and we were just running laps on the street. And our street is, if you do a lap from main thoroughfare to main thoroughfare, it's about 1.5 miles. At the 2 mile mark, they were dragging me when we got near the house, dragging me to the house. So I knew at that point they're done.
Yeah.
Get them inside, and then I went and decided to finish. But by then, because I started so late, the sun's already up. So I'm fighting everything you talked about. I'm fighting the humidity. I'm fighting the sun. So I said, you know what?
Makes it worse, right?
This is going to be my super slow baseline. So I just said, I'm just going to walk this whole thing. So I did.
That first one, yeah.
Walked the whole thing. Not a big deal. Got it done. Pounded it out. The second one that I ran actually was yesterday, and this was another one where we're fighting the weather. We wake up early in the morning, or we're awakened early in the morning. In our household, it's a 4 a.m. wake up every day.
No matter what.
Because of the dogs. We get up, we walk them, we go back to bed.
What is this we?
Well, sometimes I walk them. Usually they don't
Rarely.
Want me. They go to you.
I do appreciate it on the days you do.
Well,
anyway,
they never ask for me.
I know.
So, you know, but so
at any rate, you're about to talk about a different challenge that we face here in Florida.
We do, which is when you start to get the heat here, you get the thunderstorms. And we were awakened not only by the dog, but also by the fact that we had massive thunder and lightning outside.
Yeah.
And it was just cutting loose. So we wake up to thunderstorms. We go, okay, we'll sleep in a little bit and then get back to it.
Yeah.
Well, about the time you get ready to go outside, it decides it's wanting to rain again. So I didn't actually get to do my run yesterday until
will it, won't it?
6 o'clock.
Yeah. Will it, won't it? And then in between the storms, can you have the best of conditions? Or is it just going to be total moist air with steam coming off the pavement?
Well, I had the least awful conditions available yesterday.
In the evening.
Starting about 6. We had
I was proud of you because nighttime runs are tough.
Moving air, but it was all moist air, and it didn't really cool off at all here until today. So I didn't get the benefit of any of that. So feels like temperatures were in the 90s. It was just miserable. Yeah. But instead, I didn't take the dogs with me because they were so freaked out from the thunder and lightning. Yeah. They didn't want any part of running. That was fine. So I ended up doing an interval for the entirety of the run. And I just decided we've got this series of 6 10Ks. I'm going to do some playing with intervals to see what they do. And just put, everything out there as far as my times and all that goes. So I ended up doing a 5-second run interval and a 55-second walk interval. And I've done this one before. And it's usually pretty good for me. Usually where I really thrive is a 15-second running interval and about a 45-second walk. Yeah. But I just kind of wanted to see what I would be getting right now with this. And I ended up shaving, I want to say 16 minutes and change.
Nice.
Just by running 5 seconds every minute. And in fact, I got a message today from our listener, Wendell.
Yes.
Who told me that he was skeptical of this 5:55 thing until he tried it. And he had massive time improvement gain.
Well, how nice for him to try and let us know.
Yeah. And I think the next 10K, I'm probably going to do like a 10:50.
Yeah.
10 seconds running, 50 seconds walking, see how that does. Then do a 15:45. Then I'm going to change it up maybe and do something like keep my rest period or my walking period at a 45 second, but then go maybe 20 or 25 as I progress on.
Yeah.
I did find in the last running challenge that we did, the top run, that a 30-second walk period was a little too short for me.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't digging that too much.
Okay.
So I'm going to play with it and see kind of where we're at here. I'm looking at this as an opportunity to do some experimentation.
It's a good point that you make because now is the time that we can do the drills and increase or decrease some run and walk run intervals and kind of play around with it. And I'm finding that no matter what I play around with, I come back to the same one that makes me successful so far.
And that for you is like a 1-to-4 ratio of 6 second running, 24-second walking.
And I don't know why that is. I just know that that's the one that's been successful.
And you've hammered out some really good times doing that too.
Yeah. So, if it ain't broke,
Yeah.
Oh, I hate to say that as an English teacher, but a former English teacher. But I'm looking forward to the rest of the 10Ks in the challenge and 2 shorter runs this week to kind of play around with that and see.
Yeah.
But I really think I, for now, have found a really successful interval. I'm so thankful for Metal Chasers.
Yes, and we're working on getting some of the folks from Metal Chasers on the show to talk about their virtual races and what they do. But the fact that we're able to do a race that's got an amazing medal.
So cool.
And a theme that we like.
Yeah.
And it benefits a charity.
It does. The Pinky Swear Foundation, and that helps children who are fighting cancer as well as supporting their families as they face that difficult battle. And I'm telling you, you and I do the Donna every year. And I have even been kicking around doing even the Donna virtuals that I've seen around just to support their foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And to support those families of those women who or men who are fighting breast cancer. This is the same kind of principle. So I love that this is a virtual race that benefits a foundation and such a worthy cause.
Absolutely.
So we'll link to the foundation and to the Metal Chasers website in the show notes.
Yes.
So you can check that out, because there's also, you know how we've been doing this traditional Infinity Gauntlet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a Tony Stark version, my friend.
That is so cool, because we happen to have we own both of those prop toys, the Tony Stark Gauntlet as well as the Thanos Gold Gauntlet.
Mm-hmm. So this is a 10K, a series of 10Ks. That Tony Stark one, I believe, is a series of 5Ks.
Even better.
And I believe that both are sold out right now at Metal Chasers as of this recording. However, they will reopen in May.
Perfect.
So stay tuned. Keep an eye on the website. We'll link to it. We would love to have you as part of the challenges and see pictures and photos and hear how it went for you. But all the running, no matter whether it's 5Ks or 10Ks in these challenges, makes me hungry.
And we were very fortunate this week. We were able to find a pretty incredible food truck here in Southwest Florida that was open for carry out or carry away, curbside carry out, takeaway food from a food truck. You couldn't stand there at the food truck and eat. You had to take it and go.
Yes.
But we did.
You can order it online and pick it up, or you can order it in person, wait for it, and then carry it out.
Either way, leave with your food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't consume on site. And they partner with some of our fantastic local breweries like Fort Myers Brewing Company and Scotty's Beer Works.
But we found them because they came to my work.
Yeah.
Once a week, my employer brings a food truck to the premises because our dispatchers don't have the luxury of being able to leave and go off campus, get something to eat, and then come back within that hour.
Yeah, that's
so
tough.
Having something that comes to them is great. Plus, we have over 100 civilian support staff that work with us. So this works out really, really well. And this food truck is called King's Tacos and Burritos.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, they have an amazing selection. It's not too big, but it's got enough variety where if you like Mexican food, you're probably going to find something that's going to make you happy.
Oh, I mean, you can do chicken, you can do beef, you can do vegetarian options.
And they do tacos, burritos, nachos, quesadillas, tostadas, bowls.
Yeah, and they have chips and salsa. And let me just tell you,
Homemade salsas.
the homemade salsas, like if you pay $10, then you can get a medium, a mild, medium, or hot salsa.
A jar of salsa to take home.
in like a cute little mason jar. And I'm telling you, it's out of this world. And it's not hot for the sake of being hot or mild for like, oh, this is just blah. No. Flavors abound.
Yeah, you're tasting the individual flavors of the ingredients in the salsa. And we actually ended up getting lunch at this food truck when it was at my work. I picked it up and brought it home to eat with Amy.
When I was in a marathon of conference calls for work.
And then we found out that they were going to be at a local brewery that evening, and we went again and got dinner.
It was it was so great.
But not only did we get dinner, we got one of the jars of salsa with chips to go, and then we said, we should have gotten all three.
Yeah, we should have, and next time we will.
Yes.
Wherever they are going to be, that is where we're going to go. Let me tell you, this King's Tacos and Burritos, I mean, they'll do chicken, ground beef, carnitas, steak, chorizo, or pastor.
Yeah.
Oh, and when we were having it on that day, we were sticking to vegetarian.
More or less.
well, it wasn't vegan, but it was vegetarian.
I'm going to take a stab at it and say that the refried beans probably weren't 100% vegetarian, but we're going to give ourselves a pass on that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's talk about what we had. We mentioned the homemade salsa. They offered a mild, a medium, and a hot. And one of the salsas, the mild salsa, is a green tomatillo salsa.
It's awesome.
Wow. Tart, hints of lime.
Smoky.
A little bit of
Smoke.
cumin.
Yeah.
Just fantastic flavor, really chunky. Went great on what we had as far as the food goes. Great, of course, for dipping with chips.
Oh.
The spicy salsa.
They
give you a little side of it.
I could take a whole vat of it because it was not hot for the sake of being hot.
But it would light you up. If you are sensitive to spicy food, this would be one of those where I would say tread carefully.
It was smoky, but it was also like a jalapeno type of. It was like different layers of heat.
Yes.
And melded into so many great Mexican spices.
And it made a great add-in if you wanted to take a little bit of that and stir it into the mild salsa.
The tomatillo that we got in the little tiny mason jar.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Just to mix that little we should have gotten a whole thing of that.
We will. It's coming. They're coming back. I'm pretty sure they're coming back to work, to my work, and we now have them on we're following their Facebook page, and we are going to be stalking them.
Yes, and they also, it was just like to mix those salsas. I want to have a little experiment with the medium, the hot, and the mild all together.
I know where you're going with this.
And I want to try them separately, and I want to try them together because trying a little bit of each on that. We had the Veggie Queen burrito, which was pinto beans, golden rice, bell peppers, corn, carrots, cheese. We didn't get the sour cream, but it had guacamole with it.
Yeah, we got double guacamole instead of sour cream.
Yeah. So it might not have been totally vegetarian, but it was a grilled burrito.
Yeah, when they served it to us, I got it in to-go containers. I opened the containers. I wasn't expecting it. I don't know why. There wasn't any reason I shouldn't have been expecting it, but there also wasn't any reason that I should be. And they serve it. Each burrito comes with the sour cream and guacamole on the side, as well as a little handful of chips. They split the burrito, so it's cut in half for you. It's perfectly sized. It is big enough that you could eat half for lunch and save the other half for lunch tomorrow.
That is true.
Or dinner later in the day. Or, don't. Just eat a lot, like we did.
Like we did.
And
well, we had been running too.
Yes. So it worked out beautifully, and they did such a nice job because the extra step of grilling the burrito, and when we say grilling, I mean basically searing it on the flat top.
But there was char on the vegetables too.
Well, yes, because they took time to cook those vegetables before adding it into the burrito.
So good.
But they do such a nice job, and you get a little bit of the crisp on the tortilla, and that just made all the difference in terms of texture, flavor, and their refried beans that they use were very flavorful, very creamy, and very filling.
And the rice was perfectly cooked too.
Yes.
It was not like if it's undercooked and how you have kind of like those little sticks.
I have no patience for undercooked rice.
That was just
perfect.
It was perfect.
Awesome.
I would have it again in a heartbeat. And I will tell you that we got them when they were out at, at your work, and then Fort Myers Brewing Company. They went to Scotty's Beer Works locally. Those are a couple of different breweries that we have here in town. Mm-hmm. They sold out. They totally sold out.
That's fantastic.
At Scotty's Beer Works. And, they posted on their Facebook page. They're like, we're so sorry if you got there and we ran out of food. The response was overwhelming. Let me tell you, it's warranted.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. Portions are huge. Food quality is through the roof.
Yeah, and let me tell you,
And prices.
yeah, what we got was $10, and it was worth every bit of that $10.
Yeah. $10 easily could feed you for 2 meals.
Mm-hmm.
The tacos are $3.
I mean, and
$1 if you want to add, what is it? I think it's $1 if you want to do a substitution for like a different kind of tortilla.
Yeah, like instead of a corn tortilla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, their burrito, the standard burrito is a 12-inch burrito with your choice of protein, all the fixings. They do a massive thing in nachos. I mean,
I wanna
basically
see that.
filling. Oh, well, I've seen it.
I want to have it.
Yeah, I mean, they're basically filling up one of these big to-go containers and
Oh
they're
my
just
gosh.
topping it with all the stuff.
And there's like something called tostadas costane. I can't do it. Castanetas.
Costenas.
Okay, thank you. I just can't. But that is 2 hard shell corn tortillas piled with pinto beans, choice of meat, veggie, sour cream, lettuce, tomatoes, cotija cheese, and guacamole. Ask about a vegetarian option,
Right.
a veggie option. So I think they have some options for everybody.
Yeah. And again, they're doing the bowl, same thing. It's just instead of serving it on tortilla, they're serving it on a bowl of rice.
Oh,
So great options there.
$10.
You know, they're doing, you know, full sides of chips with guacamole or chips with salsa. So, you know, you could easily piece together a really hearty Mexican meal for very little money
Yeah.
and have plenty to eat and plenty for leftovers.
Yeah, or for 2, you know, like you could split a quesadilla, you could split the nachos, you could split a burrito.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Just. King's Tacos and Burritos, they're on Facebook, and if you are local, we highly suggest that you check them out in the Southwest Florida area.
Yeah, you won't regret it.
Yeah. So thanks for lunch and dinner. And, you know, I mean, we ran, we ate. The only thing left is to drink.
So for this week's drink portion of the episode, we are fortunate enough to be joined by Paul Cottrell. Paul, welcome to the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. Longtime viewers and listeners of the show are going to remember that we had Paul on for National Mojito Day.
Yes, we did.
Last year. And Paul is a distiller of fine spirits and happens to be a bit of a mad scientist and genius when it comes to cocktails. But like us, he is also a huge Marvel fan.
Ah, yes.
You've read 1 or 2 books. You've seen a couple of movies. Is that what I'm to understand here?
Yeah, that's a good start. Yeah.
Just a little bit.
one or 2, maybe 3, 4,
1 or
17, whatever. Yeah.
Well, what we were so fortunate to be able to do was get Paul to assist us because, as everybody knows, since we just got done recapping our challenge, as you can see here with our medals, and Amy is way ahead of me, as we've already pointed out. We are in the middle of the Gauntlet 60K.
I don't feel bad for you.
No,
Sorry.
I know you don't. I see how it is.
Right?
And what Paul has decided or been kind enough to do for us is create cocktails for us themed after each of the Infinity Stones.
He is a cocktail artist.
Oh, we're going to see where
I like that. I'm using that.
Where the art of cocktails meets the art of comics and the art of the Marvel Cinematic Universe here.
Indeed.
So, Paul, as we talked this week, we wanted to go over a couple of the Infinity Stones. We certainly wouldn't want to do all 6 in one sitting, but we tasked you with the important, dare I say, the almost sacred task of crafting a cocktail that perfectly embodies the Space Stone. What do you have for us? for the Space Stone. And
Sure.
for the MCU novices, the Space Stone is the blue stone in the Infinity Gauntlet, and it's also the stone that was found inside of the Tesseract in not only Captain America, the First Avenger, but also in Avengers
Oh, yes. Loki uses it.
to bring the Chitauri army to
Yes.
Earth. Yes.
Yes.
So,
The it's fun. The Space Stone is probably my favorite of all the stones, just because it's probably the most genius Marvel invention on planet Earth. Uh, for for a couple of reasons, but mostly this was like the brilliance of Stan Lee, right? If you think about
Mm.
the Space Stone was capable of connecting dimensions and universes, right?
mhm.
So if you think about what the Space Stone is capable of doing, the Space Stone is Marvel's way of connecting the animated universe with the television universe, with the cinematic universe, with the with the comic universe, the
Mm.
Alliance universe, the Ultimate universe. They're all connected because of the Tesseract. The Tesseract is the only thing that is found in all those universes, right? Even the stones in other universes, the Ultimate universe and the animated series are called gems, not stones.
Right.
Right.
Mm.
So it was this brilliant kind of get out of jail free card that Stan Lee came up with, where he was just like, hey, if we need to all of a sudden one day we need to take this comic series and attach it to this animated series, Tesseract, that's kind of your middleman, right? And so the
Mm.
thought with the Space Stone, because of its ability to kind of connect multiverses, if you will.
Mhm.
The idea here was, let's take two bases of cocktails, right? Two different, completely styled cocktails, and push them together and kind of just form this amalgamation of two drinks that shouldn't work, but somehow it does. When I think about cocktails, I think about, give me the craziest idea you can think about on the planet, and I can't wait to drink it, and I can't wait to make it. So for me, the challenge of trying to take two drinks that shouldn't fit is I love it. And so what we've done is we've tackled two classic drinks. We've tackled a gin drink, the gin cocktail world being kind of the beginning of the cocktail world, and one particular drink being the Tom Collins. The Tom Collins was kind of the Cadillac of gin drinks, right? It's your classic gin, lime, seltzer, simple syrup, right?
Mm.
That base of drink is
And
what
when
so many cocktails are built out of.
and when you get to talking about gin drinks, that's usually where you start talking about what people will often refer to as grown-up drinks.
Mm.
Sure, gin is definitely a love it or hate it kind of relationship people have with gin. It's either something that people can't get enough of, or to a lot of people, gin smells like a Bath and Body Works, and I get it. I get it. There's a lot of those herbaceous, citrusy notes
Floral.
in
Yeah.
gins. The thing that a lot of people tend to forget when it comes to gin is there are uh, massively unique styles of gin. The what we're going to use today is London dry gin. I like London dry gins because they tend to be very kind of citrusy forward and less of that floral kind of note. London dry gin is a great start if you don't know if you're a gin fan. And then on the other
Mm-hmm.
side, we're going to go way out into left field, and we're going to enter the world of rum tiki drinks, right?
Okay.
None of them fit well together in any way, shape, or form, right? But in this case, it will. Uh, what we're going to go after is a classic kind of a hanging out by the resort pool with the big tall drink with the fake umbrella sticking out of the top, right? The Blue Hawaiian. The Blue Hawaiian
Mm.
is typically a coconut rum drink with pineapple juice, some white rum, some cream coconut, and what we need for today, which is this guy. This is Blue Curacao. So Blue Curacao
Mm.
essentially is an orange liqueur that they've colored blue.
Okay, Loki. Well, why don't you fire up the Tesseract and show us what happens when you bring these two universes together?
Let's make a drink. All right, here you go. The first thing you need, of course,
There we go.
yeah. First thing you need is your gin, an ounce and a half. We're gonna
London
send
dry.
our Blue Curacao in, of course.
Nice.
And how much of the blue
Uh,
curacao?
It's like at the end of the day, it's going to be somewhere between an ounce and an ounce and a half.
Yeah.
So this is going to be one of those things where you're going to make it, you're going to shake it, and if you want it to be bluer, toss a little bit more in there. But an ounce is a good start.
Okay.
Right. The other thing you're going to need here is grapefruit juice. We're going to replace the pineapple juice and kind of go more towards the Tom Collinsy side with something more bitter and assertive. But grapefruit is a good kind of middle ground for that. Right, grapefruit's going to be a little sweet. It's going to be a little bitter. It's going to kind of help bring both of those. I like red grapefruit.
Red,
If you like
yes.
white grapefruit, go for it. We only need an ounce of juice, so I doubt that the red is going to do too much to the color, right? Now, there is an optional ingredient, and that would be cream of coconut. And that'll pull you even closer to that coconutty kind of side of the Blue Hawaiian, right? It's not necessary here. The cocktail is going to be delicious without it. But if you wanted to kind of get that little touch of coconut in there too, it'll also
tropical.
give maybe a slight bit of cloudiness, but you should still get a really nice presentation behind it. This one is ready to shake. We need one more ingredient, but we're going to add it after we shake because it's a club soda. And so we don't want to shake the bubbles, right? You don't want to get the gas out of there, right? And we're going to go straight into our glass here.
Oh, fancy. Look at that. Look at the color.
Right. And then a little added touch for me today is not going to be club soda. I'm going to use an unsweetened lemon seltzer, right? I'm going to get a little bit of that limey lemoniness that the Tom Collins would have, right? I can add it on the end with the club soda. If you wanted this to be sweeter, add, I'm not going to say the brand. You guys know what we're talking about, lemon lime soda, right?
Right.
Your favorite lemon lime soda. That would be sweet and give you the lemoniness. If you wanted to be super fun, I bet everybody, I know we do in town here, has a local brewery that's real good at making hard seltzers. And, you could take a grapefruit hard seltzer or a lemon hard seltzer, and that would fit really well in here as well. So,
interesting.
What about a grapefruit beer, like a touch of a grapefruit beer?
Sure, absolutely. Now, the seltzer here does something we call lengthening. Basically, it makes this cocktail less assertive.
Okay,
so how much of this that you want is completely determined on how strong you want your cocktail.
I was
If
actually
you want
going to ask you about that term because I've been hearing that a lot. I've been doing some reading on gin and gin cocktails. And I think gin seems to be seeing a resurgence in the cocktail culture right now. Bespoke gins being made and then different bars doing their own twists on things. So I saw that term lengthening. I was going to ask you about that.
Right. So lengthening is basically taking the base of a cocktail and stretching it out, making it a thinner, kind of easier, approachable drink. If you think about it, a gimlet is kind of the most basic cocktail, and it's a martini style drink, which is gin and lime and simple syrup. That's it. A Tom Collins is a lengthened gimlet. Right? Instead of going in a martini glass, you'd go in a highball glass and you'd add club soda.
Yeah.
Right. So if you think about that lengthening term, if you take the club soda out of these drinks, you have made another drink. But by adding the club soda and lengthening the cocktail, now it's a new drink.
Gotcha.
Right?
So in a way, you have just taught the Runcation Nation how to make several different drinks.
Would you do us a favor and use that stone to send us one of those drinks over here?
Yeah, I got the test rack over here somewhere.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me like there it goes. All right, should be there shortly. Oh, we did the thing. Check it out.
Wow. And cheers to you guys. Let's see how this tastes.
Oh boy, that's a good drink.
Oh, okay. I was expecting it to be way more floral. I think I was.
Sure. Well, blue curacao to save the day. Blue curacao is kind of that way that you can make cocktails more approachable because the orange and the sweetness is what's kind of toned down that bittery floral note that you might get from really aggressive gins.
What do you think, Aim?
Well, I like the bubbly on top. I think, especially if you don't know if you are into gin or not, it kind of would tone down any of those notes.
I think this
But-
is super approachable
And
for
I don't
somebody.
think it's overly sweet either.
No, and actually, that was the other thing I was expecting this to be really floral and then to be cloying, because I've only had
Oh,
like
sure.
I guess like some of the blue curacao drinks I've had have been like
Really,
corporate margaritas, I guess is the best way I could describe it. Like
Right, right,
chain
right.
restaurant bar.
really
In
sweet.
in the mixology business, we call them booze and juice drinks.
Okay.
Right, they're the kind of cocktails you get that have a lot of liquor and a lot of juice in them, and they're so sweet they don't taste like alcohol. They're drinks for people that don't drink. You know,
Gotcha.
it's somebody who's like, I don't want to taste the alcohol. I don't want it to be strong. You can get a good dose of your liquor in there without it being uh, that taste of liquor by
Right.
going more towards the sweet side.
Yeah.
So blue curacao is a good way. You know, if you think about it, that blue stuff, basically, that was our simple syrup in this drink.
Yeah.
The grapefruit was our lime juice, right? If you
Mm.
want it to be a little sweeter, the cream of coconut tops on that sweet side.
Mhm.
And then the gin is a very dry, assertive thing. So what we've done is we've taken dry notes and strong notes and sweet notes and balanced them together, which is the whole
like it.
key to the booze world when you're making cocktails. It's all about that balance of the different flavors. And this is one of those drinks that doesn't sound like it should work, but it totally does.
Absolutely.
It does. Well done, sir.
The next stone that Paul has been so gracious in agreeing to make a drink for us is going to be the Mind Stone. Take us to school. Show us
All
what
right.
you got for the
Here we go.
Mind Stone. We
Mama's thirsty.
yeah. I got this one over here is getting like antsy like
So,
Thanos for another stone.
When I think of Mind Stone, and when most people that are Marvel fans, maybe outside in Marvel fans, think of the Mind Stone, you think of the iconic scenes of Loki holding his scepter.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And that's so to me, I go more towards the Loki route when it comes to a Mind Stone cocktail and the idea of deception. So we're going to
Okay.
take two extremely bitter things and we're going to make dessert out of them.
Hit us.
Yay.
Right, here you go. So we're going to break our shaker back out and we're going to go in with the lemon juice. Get the fresh stuff. Don't mess that up.
Squeeze a lemon.
Ounce
Yes.
of lemon juice.
Indeed.
Now,
Get your
you need
workout in.
lemonade here. The cool part about this kind of a cocktail, lemonade is a bit dealer's choice. You know, it's maybe you might prefer a sweeter lemonade. You might prefer a drier lemonade. Maybe you're trying to do the diet thing and you got diet lemonade. I don't care. You know, however you like this cocktail flavor profile wise. One of the cool things you can do, which I have done in this circumstance, is I've made my own lemonade because I'm a cocktail nerd and I make all my own ingredients. And one of my favorite things to add into these kind of cocktails is a very fancy ingredient that I'm not going to bore you too much with the details, but it's called oleo saccharum. So basically, if you know what like simple syrup is,
Sure.
Yes.
sugar,
Sugar and water.
Now imagine making lemon simple syrup, right? So, you know, lemon, sugar, water, cook it. Oleo saccharum is sugar and lemon oil.
Oh.
Right. The easiest way to make it is you take like a vacuum bag and you toss about 8 lemons worth of lemon peels in the bag, and then you put 2 cups of sugar in it and you vacuum seal it and you wait for about an hour and you come back to it and all the oils have dissolved the sugars, and now you have these really heavy lemon oils that are now
neat.
sweet because of the sugar addition. What that also does is helps me pull a lot of color out of the lemon peels themselves.
Whoa.
So my lemonade is like
Look at that color.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
you know what I mean?
Okay.
My lemonade's like neon yellow. So again, this is
Yeah.
kind of like back to the blue curacao, right? Depending on the brand you buy, it might look a little different.
Mhm.
Same deal here. Depending on the lemonade you buy, it might look a little different. If you're going straight in to the bright yellow kind of cocktail you want for this kind of thing, break out the food coloring and drop a drop in there. Nobody's going to look at you the other way. It's going to look really pretty, right? But there are ways you can go about doing it if you're a giant nerd like me. So 1 ounce of lemon juice. And now we've got 3 ounces here of lemonade. Again, dealer's choice, whatever kind of lemonade you want. Now here comes the weird part, right? We've got lemonade, we've got lemon juice. My lemonade's kind of tart. Lemon juice is obviously tart.
Very.
So our liquor of choice here to kind of round this whole thing out, because remember, that's what we did with the last cocktail.
Right.
We took a floral ingredient, we took bitter ingredients, we made them sweet. So we have bitter on top of bitter, on top of sour, on top of bitter, and we're going to make it sweet with vanilla rum. Right, now we need 2 ounces of vanilla rum. And now what we've done here is we've transposed these kind of sour, heavy lemon notes. And we've turned this kind of combination of ingredients into lemon meringue pie in a glass.
Ooh.
Right?
Okay.
So a little shortcut here, if you wanted to go down this route, you don't have to, but you're more than welcome to. Pull out the lemonade, or at least half the lemonade, add limoncello instead.
Ooh, nice.
And serve it in a martini glass.
Okay.
Right? So the vanilla rum is going to bring the sweetness, and it's going to bring this kind of butterscotchy, buttercreamy kind of note that's going to take these lemon ingredients and turn them into dessert.
Sure. If you've ever had a lemon meringue pie
Yes.
or like a lemon cake,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with like a buttercream icing, I mean, that's kind of the same concept.
Now, could you rim the glass with like some graham cracker and kind of simulate a lemon bar or something?
So
like
what I would do to this, if it was me, and if I had the time, I would make meringue, and I would put a layer of meringue across the top, and I would brulee the meringue, and I would serve the drink like that. Another option would be to cut all these ingredients in half and then add heavy cream and make this in a blender instead of in so basically what you're going to get is almost like a lemon meringue mousse kind of a thing.
Ooh.
And then you can put it in a glass and make this meringue and you could literally just eat it with a spoon.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And
I'm gonna go
how are
back
you
to
how are you
I'm gonna go
serving
back
it?
to my space stone so I can send you guys a cocktail. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think hold on, time out, hold on. There it is. I found it. It's over here. Hold on, here it goes. All right, here we go. Ready, incoming.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, we have
Look
it.
at that.
Martini
And
style. You did it, guys. That's it.
You were kind enough to send us the regular and the cream version.
Yay.
Cheers.
Oh yeah. See what the vanilla does to kind of transform the whole thing? The vanilla kind of gets to this is bitter and sweet, but now it's dessert in just one step.
It absolutely tastes like lemon meringue pie.
It does.
Doesn't it?
That's crazy.
It does. You should. It's even more so with the
so the creamy note. The creamy note is where you'll really bring that
I'll just keep this.
No, you will not. Sorry, we were fighting. Go ahead.
We're fighting over your drinks.
The cream is what kind of takes you into pie territory, you know. So
yeah.
If you had a little dark rum, you could do a little float on the top as well. That would be real pretty.
And this would be another great way of exercising your mind stone powers because you would erase somebody's mind.
Yep, you sure would. Yep.
That is fantastic.
You would surely erase someone's mind.
Well, Paul, we can't thank you enough for your time this afternoon, for spending a little bit of time making some fantastic cocktails to commemorate the Infinity Stones as part of our Gauntlet 60K running challenge. And again, Amy's just flaunting the fact she's done more than I have done. I've only got 2 stones in my gauntlet. She's got.
I just want to give him a reason to come back and make more cocktails.
4.
I was gonna say, you guys get to running, and I'll get to making drinks. So,
I'm prepared.
In that case, it looks like the next 2 are going to be the Reality Stone and the Power Stone. I cannot wait to see what you've got in store for us for the Power Stone.
Fun ones, real fun ones. They're going to be great.
And I would like to thank both of you gentlemen for letting me see a little bit into the comic universe.
Well, I could foresee it maybe one night after all this is over, me and Paul just grabbing a couple of these cocktails and then just nerding out for a little while on comic books as a separate, maybe a separate show in the feed if he's got time and, you know, the inclination to talk comics.
I always got time for Marvel, let me tell you.
He's a wizard.
Some might say mad scientist.
Mad scientist, cocktail artist. I don't even know.
Maybe supervillain.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Captain of the Cocktails.
Captain Cocktail.
I don't know. Is that a really lame superhero name?
Maybe we could get, it's a shame we can't get Stan Lee to approve. That'd be great. But we can't wait to see what he's got in store for us next week.
Totally.
So thank you, Paul, for jumping in here again.
And taking the time.
We're also going to link back to the previous episode where we had Paul on for National Mojito Day.
Yes.
So you can see what he does. And he is not afraid to get in there and mix things up, literally and figuratively.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about not about the individual ingredients. It's about the final product for him. He'll mix anything as long as it's going to taste good in the end.
He talked so much about the balancing and one element adding the sweetness while one adds the tartness or spice, or just amazing in the amount of knowledge that he has about cocktails, about different liquors and their genesis.
And how they interact on your palate. That's because we have talked with Paul on several occasions regarding cocktails and mixology, and the amount of knowledge he has is just out of this world. So we can't wait to have him back next week for the second part of our Gauntlet Challenge.
Well, I mean, that's a lot. I'm tired. It
was a lot of running.
Really tired. Just a lot of running. So the Gauntlet Challenge continues next week.
Yes, it does.
But in the meantime, we really, in all seriousness, want to take this time to say a special thank you to everyone who has left us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and on Podbean. We've recently had some great and new reviews.
And y'all have no idea how much that helps us. Recent reviews help us get discovered in Apple Podcasts. And Apple Podcasts, people probably think we're biased towards Apple Podcasts, and it's not that we have a specific preference. It's just they are the largest podcast repository on the internet, and if you are not listed there or not being served well there, then it's hard to get noticed anywhere else.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't care where you listen to us. We care that you listen to us. We just happened to pull some really great reviews that warmed our hearts this week. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of them says, the nicest people, and this is from actually Tuesday, so this is fairly recent.
All right.
Yeah. So the nicest people is the subject, and it says, I love listening to this podcast. It's informative and fun all at the same time. I love discovering new races and new places with them.
And there's another one that's from March 12th that says, loving this podcast so much. The enthusiasm and detail they have when talking about their races and food gets me excited to start training for Princess. Keep up the great work. Thank you. That's from James J.W. And we hope so. That's the idea.
Well, we want to motivate people to train, and we want to motivate ourselves too.
Exactly.
And then the final review we have on Apple Podcast says, you'll love it. And this is from April 10th. It says, amazing podcast from an awesome couple that runs. They are both runners, and that's a nice change. They go on runcations and give you a tour of local eateries. Makes you feel as if you are on the runcation with them.
And again, that's also the idea. Yeah. And we did have one on Podbean also. This is from Wendell4911. It says, wow, great show. Jeff Galloway is the man. Yes, he is.
Oh.
Such a positive and powerful message that was right on time. Thanks for the recipe ideas also. Well, you're welcome. And we love having Jeff on the show when he's willing and able to give us some of his time.
He's a busy guy. Does a lot for the running community.
He sure does.
Yeah, and we appreciate that. And we appreciate all your reviews. So if you love what you hear, leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Podbean, wherever your podcasts are served. We'd really appreciate it because it helps us get discovered and it helps our Runcation Nation grow.
So next week, the Gauntlet 60K Challenge continues, and we can't wait to bring you more of that with some delicious food and beverage pairings made just for these special Infinity Stones we're going to be earning.
Yay! So, I'm sad because we've come to the end of the episode, but For now, we hope this finds you well and safe, and we thank you for tuning in. For the Run Eat Drink podcast, I'm Amy.
And I'm Dana.
And we will talk to you really soon. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Run, Eat, Drink podcast. We're having a great third year because of your support. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Run, Eat, Drink podcast. And on Twitter, we're at Run, Eat, Drink pod. You can also give us a call at 941-677-2733 or shoot us an email at info@runeatdrink.net. Visit our website at runeatdrink.net and click on the subscribe link so you don't miss a minute. Accomplish, explore, and indulge right along with us. We'll talk to you next time.